What's new and awesome in 3D printing for gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Jefferson J. Thacker, also known as Perram, and I'm joined by
Chris and Sour, it's also known as Seventh Mastery.
Kristen. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about our tagline is what's new and awesome, and we are going to exaggerate that tagline this episode
Mm.
as we start talking about what's super new, newer than new, so new it isn't here yet. It's the
It's
end of
the
the year.
future.
Yes, it's in the year, and we are going to make our predictions and our wish lists for what we want the future of gaming 3D printing to be.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, the last couple of years, um, been 3D printing like crazy. I know you have too. We've been geeking
Yes.
out about it, sharing projects, sharing prints, doing this silly little podcast for over a year now, and I feel like we definitely have seen a lot of the sides of 3D printing. We may not have seen all of the sides of 3D printing. Nylon can get right out. I don't care about nylon anymore. Screw you, nylon. And I can't afford the industrial laser machines that shoot lasers into powdered steel to make hubcaps for freaking BMWs.
I mean, not yet. Maybe you will be able to soon. Either because they'll get cheap, which I doubt, or because you'll be making bank doing all the 15 gazillion jobs you have.
Also, happy holidays from Joseph Wonder. Hey, welcome to the show.
Happy holidays,
So,
Joseph.
but we've definitely seen a humongous amount of advancement in the tech space going forward. Like those very first few printers I was using would just be dinosaurs just a couple of years later, and I really am excited about what this could mean going forward, and especially how far we've gotten to where before I was like, 3D printing ain't that bad, gang. You just need this, and this, and 3 tubs and some alcohol. And now it's just like, honestly, if you don't want to get a drop of resins on your fingers, it's kind of possible to do that these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely improved to the point where, like, I even feel like my Saturn's starting to feel a titch nostalgic, that I'm like wanting to hang on to it, like, which is weird because it's already been kind of upgraded, to the 2 and then the 8K and yeah, Elegoo will probably announce another printer during our podcast today.
I
Um,
mean, I have been informed of a leak from Elegoo from one of our sources, David,
You're
about
kidding.
and then went back to found that either they're launching a Mars 4
Hmm.
or it is going to be what was previously announced in September soon of a DLP version of a Mars.
Hmm. Just crazy because, of course, I was joking, but here we are.
It's been a week. They've been busy over there at Elegoo.
I guess.
So let's get into it. What is one of the predictions you think will be, or what that you want to see, or you think will definitely happen?
I definitely am on the want to sees here mostly. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I'm going to throw out the crystal ball quite so much. I
Mm-hmm.
do definitely want to see an upgraded rinse and cure station that manages your cleaning fluid better.
Ooh.
That would be a serious upgrade, in my opinion. And I don't know what that's going to look like, and I'm not sure anybody does. I know it's got to happen though. There's a lot of smart people out there working with these every day. A lot of ecologically sound people working with them. Just there's so many people who care about this, who deal with it, who have mysterious puddles of semi fluids, gelled, partially cured mystery liquids. It's got to get better on that front soon.
Right.
Um,
So we've seen
but
some commercial grade 3D printers from Creality and from some of the other like more industry focused ones where they've taken the convenience like to 11, where
right,
you insert a cartridge into the side of the thing and the vat itself is a disposable item, um, and it also acts as its own wash and cure machine. Like it's all one and done device where it pumps the resin in, then prints it, then empties the resin, then turns itself into a cleaning vat. And I do think that eventually we're going to start seeing some of that tech make its way over to the consumer side at the high end of printers. That's still going to be expensive because you're talking about a lot of machinery. And one of the
yeah,
advantages of the tech right now and why they've been able to do such rapid advancement is we're really only talking about laptop, tablets, and cell phone screens plus UV light equals models. And it is wonderful and cheap and super reliable because very few moving parts, just like a one Z axis that makes a thing go up and down with a stepper motor and just a vat of goo and an LCD screen. Its beauty is the simplicity, and that's why the prices are so good down here at the low and entry level. And when you start adding things like, and it's got resin pumping, and it switches over to alcohol pumping, and then the vat is on a roller. So, like, this is real. It's a vat just rolls across and puts new vat underneath it and, as it keeps printing.
Yeah, yeah. I am hoping, nothing even quite that fancy. I'm just hoping for that next level, mercury or whatever it is, the next day,
Mhm.
just something that can help with the management of that waste fluid eventually would be
Yeah.
beautiful to me. Or just to
And
keep it cleaner longer.
yeah. Dealing with, honestly, I would love to see a product out there aimed specifically towards printers for what to do with the dirty liquid. Because like that is the most annoying part right now is like, what the heck do I do with all my dirty IPA when it's time to change it out for new IPA? Right now, I'm putting it into a gallon jug, an old milk jug, setting it out in the sun to let it cure, then evaporate off the alcohol and chuck it in the trash. Because
Right, right.
that's
The mystery bottles, like I said.
mhm.
Like I'll even sometimes forget that I had one during the winter last year. I forgot I had one, and I will tell you that is a fascinating science experiment at this point because it is gray and jiggly. I don't really know what else is going on with
If you
it.
poke the top of it, it explodes into liquid, pure IPA.
Oh, interesting. Wow, chat is flying, by the way. I would love to call it everybody, but there's been a
Mhm.
lot going by very
Yeah.
quickly. So
And I think C Catlet has hit it on the nose right now with the actual real next gen improvement that we will be seeing on mid range consumer printers, and that is heated vats built in.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
right now, I haven't got to run my printer because we had that huge winter storm, and it's just too cold to print. I haven't been able to print any of those cool freaking sister models from OPR that I've
And
been
they are
wanting to
cool.
print. And like the ones with the bicycles, I want to print the ones with the
Those
bicycles.
bikes are cool. I was very impressed. I wasn't even thinking of Sister's Army, but I've seen those models and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, that's
Well, like
different.
I so for my grim darkness right now, my local crew, we're just focusing on firefight for now because like we went all in army on fantasy.
Right.
So like we're doing, so I don't need to worry about 50 sisters. I need to worry about 6 sisters.
Nice. Yeah. Then
Mm,
you got some time to get some really cool stuff going on.
yeah. And you can just spend so much more time. And also I'm doing them so that when I for my like skirmisher bands and my stuff, it's like I didn't just do generic night dudes. These will be my veteran squad if I do upscale to an army, or I will take them and distribute them as sergeants to the other squads so that like
Right.
I can go like these can get the fancy paint jobs and all the cool customizations and the neat weapons. I guess I'm always aiming towards the future.
Yeah.
Voxel Forge Miniature says next gen is DLP. We kind of touched on that earlier with Elegoo's upcoming Mars DLP printer, and I do think that that is an important bit of the tech. Get the screen away from the resin. Is like first, it's more durable.
Sure.
Screen protector, more optional. Still use it. It just makes the cleanup a lot easier. And also helps higher quality distribution of the image. You can get sharper results. Things can print faster. There's all kinds of advantages to switching to DLP, but that is an expensive piece of tech that makes the machine more complicated. So we will only be seeing this at the mid-range consumer level. We're talking $400, $500 printers to get DLP tech. Now the key here is that that is a tech that should scale easier in size. So like when you start talking about your Saturns or your um so when you start talking about your Saturns or even bigger printers, the DLP tech should scale a lot better so that the overall cost won't be as bad reflected. Like it's just a it's a upfront boost in cost that won't we won't see like the Saturn DLP shouldn't be $1,000 printer. It should be more like a $700 printer.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm probably. I saw someone. Joseph said, "What are you going to do
Mm-hmm.
with your? Don't forget your screen protector." And I'm still going to be very cautious about any machine I have, even if it
Right.
has a built-in one.
Yeah.
You know,
And Herberto in chat, hey, welcome back, Herberto, says best screen protector in their opinion, an extra FEP sheet taped over the actual screen. I have done that method of it. It is
huh?
definitely a way to go. Use Captain tape if you can. That's the heat resistant tape.
Yep.
And then that will also, any of the UV spillage won't degrade it. You can pick up Captain tape super cheap at your local hardware store, or just order it for stupid cheap online at any place you order tape. And just cut it to size, tape it in place. Yeah, before screen protectors were easy to get, that was the method to home make your screen protectors.
I
And
like
now you
that.
can get them like custom cut to exactly your printer with the
Hmm.
holes already screwed in.
With the
Like,
holes already done, yeah, I've gotten super lazy now with my screen protectors because you can get exact to your model.
mhm,
I'm a little nervous as Saturn ones age out
yeah.
that the accessories are going to start disappearing though, because
Hmm.
I have a extra resin, not resin, extra print, the bed, the
The VAT,
no, the thing that goes down, the print
a
head.
print head. You've got an extra build plate.
Yes, build plate. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Mhm.
I had it on order in March and I still haven't seen it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would want an extra build plate, but I hate that you can't get one quickly.
Well, I had it on order because that I was going to wait till I had a brand new one so that I could use my old one to
Hmm.
do the magnetic release stuff.
Hmm.
And I ended up never doing it because you were kind of like, I don't know, actually, maybe I'm changing my mind about that. And then I never got the extra plate. So,
Right. I still don't know if it was worth getting the Wham Bam Flex plate for me, because anymore I don't actually take the Wham Bam off. I just scrape it with my scraper clean and then put it back. Like, I don't do a whole lot of what I bought it because I intended to do a whole lot of like printing flat objects directly onto the bed, like
right.
bases and movement trays and stuff. But it turns out just the suction force distortion on products printed like that is just like it was hit or miss whether or not I got anything usable at all.
Yep.
And so I've abandoned doing that entirely. And because of that, I barely ever use the flex plate as a flex plate. Like occasionally if I'm printing something huge, like a dragon or something, and so like its raft is like the entire build plate or some nonsense, then I
Right.
will
Right.
use it. But like I cannot remember the last time I pulled that magnetic plate off. And it's like you get two of them with the printer so that you can like rapidly swap is the idea. And that poor extra one's just sat on my shelf collecting dust for like over a year now.
And I feel doubly taken because my mag plate, I only got one. Like, why did
Mm.
I only get one of those? You got two? Oh,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. It's all right.
Now where I have him now, reverse that for filament based Wham Bam plate, the magnetic flex plates that come with the printers now, but used to you had to buy Wham Bams for them. But a flexible magnetic plate, absolutely essential for any sort of FDM prints, because man, getting that crap off that, like printing something that's like 10 inches by 10 inches and then flexing it off is so much easier than
See, it's weird because
having to do.
I have like textured glass on mine, and it's usually just the temperature differential. My biggest problem is sometimes it comes off during the print, which is
Mhm.
obviously a mess. But like once it cools down after the print, it just pops off.
Roberto is shouting the loves for PEI sheets. I have heard that PEI is wonderful, wonderful material, but I just don't have easy access to it. Though I still have a hate relationship with the one that comes stock with the Neptune 3, because I'm still having to use hairspray on that thing. But I'm hearing that this is a common problem with that particular sheet.
Mm.
Um, have you used a profile window scraper? I use them for my glass beds, and you just lever it and pop. Have not done that. I'm still using the old metal paint scrapers. Like a decent quality one that I went and got from Home Depot, not the ones that it came with. But yeah, so right now I'm just relying on flexing for my FDM, and for my printing in resin, just the little metal on metal chips that off really easy. So, what's another prediction, Kristen? What prediction do you have going forward? What's the future hold for 3D printing,
Future hold for 3D printing.
or do
Wow.
you hope it holds?
What do I hope it holds? Well, I had some friends give me some new resin types, some flexible
Mm-hmm.
resins, stuff that was actually pretty affordable. I mean, it was still higher end than normal. What I what I normally buy,
Right.
and so I would be curious to see what advancements we'll see this year in resin formulation. I can imagine we might see some cool effects resins. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've started to see more and more in the dice making space, and I know that usually that they're playing around with stuff that we get kind of much more mass market later versions of, right? And so I would be interested in some translucents that have effects that like I don't have to try, because if I mix pigment or some sort of effect medium into resin, chances are I'm going to get the formulation or the cure screwed up, and then I'm going to have a failed print. That's what happens with me. Like
Uh,
I would like to see one that's a little simpler to use.
my resin predictions are that we're going to see more resins targeted at gamers that are basically pre-mixed versions of our homebrew Tenacious plus Elegoo ABS like versions. And I think we're actually already seeing the beginnings of it. So some early reports I'm hearing of people that have reviewed the Chitu resin, the
Hmm.
Sculpt resin is
Hmm.
evidently kind of this already. It's like
Yeah.
it's as if you already took the ABS and the Tenacious and pre-mixed it in a bottle and then just put it in a bottle. And I have a bottle of that they sent me. I need to test, but freezing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. What about
Yeah.
you? I think you were sitting on some more.
I expect more resin related. I think the price of resins are going to go down significantly. We're
Well,
already seeing a
that's
bit of it.
that Sunloose sale hasn't ended. The one that was supposed
Yeah.
to be just for the holidays, it's
Yeah.
still there.
Because as the hobby's gotten a lot more popular, more players are entering the space. This has gone from a niche product that like dentists use and
Right.
like rapid prototype designers to something that hundreds and thousands of people are using in the hobby. So we're going to see more stuff aimed at the gamers. We're going to see more of the resins just getting cheaper, more players entering the space. Like resins that I'm used to paying $40 for 2 years ago are now $30. Tenacious has dropped from $90 to $60. I think, and like you said, the Sunloose stuff that's supposedly pretty good was selling for like what, $17 a
Yep.
bottle
Yep.
recently. And so I'm going to see more resins, cheaper resins. It's going to be less and less expensive to print your products soon, and especially for that consumer grade, you know, personal use um target market. And because we don't need, for we're a market that you don't need to like pass medical safety stuff because it's going to go into a human body. That like we don't need, it doesn't need to like pass like heat resistant stuff that can pass in freaking airports or something. Like we're just people with toys. So the requirements and the demands are less, and
Hmm.
it's more specific. So that is going to be able to be mass marketed with less oversight by various agencies that need really more specifics and controls. Because like if you looked at like the dental resins and stuff, that stuff can be like $200 a bottle.
Oh yeah, or more. Yeah.
Hmm.
Roberto, I like that prediction. He says, I think resin printers will become more normalized in the idea of printing your miniatures ever more normal, and that more companies will do both STL and plastic injection molding. Your words to the universe's ears, please,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I am so tired, especially of like companies like Broken Anvil going backward, in my opinion. Like,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
I
and we're
know
already
CEO
starting
can
to see it.
get
Like
it, but
we've
sorry, go
talked
ahead.
up War Games Atlantic, and they
Yeah.
came in hard in the resin space. Like, have you seen those kits they've been putting out? Like,
I can't even keep up with the emails, Perram. I mean, it's awesome,
hmm,
but like the amount of content we're getting, at least from that first couple signups,
hmm,
is insane. Like
like
it's, yeah.
like just the caravan kit. Like they released like we're getting literally hundreds of models from like, and this is what happens when a professional company can flex in this space. Like they've got sculptors for days. They've got all these like backwater projects that just would not work as a printed kit at all. And then they can just like but it absolutely works as just an STL file that they can throw up. Also, we're seeing things like Mantic printing, providing like extras bits that you can 3D print to customize them, their official models. You got War Games Atlantic jumping straight in. You got Modifius releasing Star Trek miniatures in STL format for days. Like their stuff's definitely on the more expensive side, but yeah. This is going to get more and more normalized. Like in order to compete in the miniature space at humongous scale, it requires insane amounts of money, and like Sealcast is kind of coming in to help normalize that and make the entry level a little bit nicer. But like for skunkworks projects and stuff like that, or for true indies, then like yeah, straight to 3D printing is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, I
Square
mean,
Peg, if you look up Modifius on Square Peg asked, wait, Star Trek minis, where I can get them? Modifius on My Mini Factory, they've been starting to put like official Star Trek miniatures out there that you can print, like whole Klingon sets, Borg sets, like a whole crew for the starships. It's like it's amazing, and they're not that overpriced compared to other options, and they are officially licensed. These aren't like Titan Forge's kind of looks like Picard version, like nod nod wink wink. This is like officially licensed. This is Patrick Stewart's face. You can use it.
it's cool.
Yeah.
I really do hope we see more of that. I do notice that Voxel Forge was pointing out that there is a lot of setup stuff, and yeah, I talked to was it Raging Heroes or something recently, and was like, any chance of you going back in your backlog, and they were just like, no way, it's too expensive to go back and recreate STL files of stuff we've done in the past. So like a lot of the Raging Heroes models, especially if you're like a Slaanesh player, which are amazing, terrible lust monster demons and etc. Like super cool, but you'll never see them, at least in those incarnations in digital. So
And I just threw up on screen here for our audio listeners, like the Caravan set. That was just one of the 20 releases we got last month from War Games Atlantic Digital, and it's just like this one set. Like this is them flexing because they're a full company, and I want to see more like this. You get 3 different wagons, a billion different options for what pulls it: normal horses, weird grimdark horses, nightmares, a giant lizard, the little bitty lizards from ReZero. The driver can be a hobbit, this merchant girl, this dude in robes, just a regular dude, a guard, freaking Gandalf. All of the parts are modular. Like the wagons are modular and customizable. It can be a cage. It can be just a merchant thing. Like they got a Hobbit version that's this big round barrel with like a bunch of food piled up on it. You got like an old west wagon. You can put freaking symbols on it. Like there's a summoning circle and like all sorts of like everything that like they just told the artist to go nuts and make everything that could possibly be put on this. And this kit would never be viable in the market, but they can just throw this on their My Mini Factory page, and boom, we've got everything. And that's
yeah,
just like one. Like let's just look at. I hate to just harp on this War Games Atlantic version because this is kind of what we want to see. This is a month of War Games Atlantic. I got like their launch and then what they've given me throughout the month since the launch. So Gurkhas, Irish chieftains, Napoleonic Russian greatcoats, a really cool necromancer, freaking futuristic grimdark horse riders, a Roman dude, this really tiny tank, smog, not really smog, but smog.
Smorgasbord.
Japanese Edo period peasant soldiers, Victorian police officers, a set of bits for their cannon fodder plastic kit to make them civilians instead of soldiers. The War Games Classic Caravan, a freaking soldier kit. Deathfield's robot soldiers, a whole thing of monks. You can make that monks wizards, martial artist monks, or just like study monks. a Roman news crier, camp followers, with all that implies, WW1 Field Hospital, and Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Yeah, I mean, just if anything, the biggest block I have to it is it's so much, and like sorting through what you're getting is it's almost work. I,
Uh,
good problem to have.
mhm.
And I don't know if we're going to see that. I mean, I guess I do know that Wild Mesh, still was a kind of smaller, mostly did Chaos and Tyranids. So of course, I loved them. Just announced that they're upping their monthly release to 3 armies, and it's going to be 70 plus models, and they're doing fantasy in addition to sci-fi. So, uh, you know, that's going to be a whole change there for them. They're going to be another
Mhm.
player kind of in that Titan
Right.
Forge Plus level releases.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see more and more of people consolidating, bigger people entering the field, the giant pile of bits that we talked about a few episodes ago that's just going to keep happening. There's really only going to be two types of models available, or subscription plans available going forward. It's going to be the shovel of everything you could want version, and with hundreds of miniatures released each
Right.
month. The OPR, the Titan Forge, the War Games Atlantic. Like War Games Atlantic is starting to make Titan Forge look kind of little,
Right.
and which is a joke because they were already one of the stupidest best deals in going. Like Epic was, I think, the only thing on par with what we're seeing out of
Right.
WGA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then like the super specific artistic stuff that we see out of Twin Goddess, or as we see after out Parabellum and groups like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like thinking Cyberforge also with
Hmm.
Titan Forge's line has gotten really big. With 3 different releases: a spaceship release, a kind of cyber tech release, a cyberpunk release, and
Hmm.
then their kind of 40K ish line also kind of
Herberto
huge.
in chat is saying reminds me of the 99 at price race when they used to make video game graphics for mobile games. And I have to wonder, like, is there a version of this where we start to get to the gotcha waifu level of fake go? Like, am I gonna not be able to buy models I want anymore? I'm just gonna have to go to Heroes Infinite and just like pull the lever and hope I get that SSR ranked techless.
Nice. You're gonna do blind boxes, blind
Mhm.
STLs,
Um,
Magic the Gathering boosters.
oh my gosh. Thankfully that particular release model just seems like it can't be compatible with this.
I hope not, because that would be awful. I have enough of that in my life.
Okay, another prediction I see going forward next year, we are going to start to see somebody is going to release a 210 cubic printable volume resin printer.
I'm not tracking. Explain.
So that is your Ender 3 base level. This is the filament. This is the land of the filament printers. This is the minimum size to enter to start printing helmets and terrain and like what your Ender
Right.
3s and your Neptunes look like. And we've seen getting close, like, the Jupiter is a mighty beast, but it still isn't there.
Hmm.
The pricing of the Jupiter is going down and down and down every month it's out. It seems to be a little bit impractical. Like, it's kind of reached the point where that's kind of impractical for most people. But
Right.
as resin's getting cheaper and approaching more filament levels of pricing, then I think that somebody's going to step up to the plate and say, "Hey, why don't you just print all that stuff in resin?"
Yeah. C Catlet says it thinks it's going to be a while. I don't know. I think maybe, but I could see that someone taking a go at it. I hope the resin does track that price wise, because that can be so expensive.
I mean, yeah, because it's going to take like literally a gallon of resin to print some of these pieces.
And can you imagine the fails on that? Ugh.
Oh, that's why I didn't get a Jupiter, because I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, one failed print and I'm out $40.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-mm. Especially when you're in your learning curve, because every printer has that learning curve.
See, Catalyst said LCD screens aren't that shape. Well, we have some larger, like if you start talking about like monitor level LCD screens, we might not hit the square, but there's definitely like some 4x3 screens that are being used on laptops that would hit that size at minimum easily. So it'd be more like 210 by 300.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be a lot of resin.
Notice that I'm not saying what I'm not predicting is more 16K and 8K and crazy resolution. We have achieved the resolution we want already.
I think for anything but the most like exacting reasons, you're just going to pay money for something you don't need, or money that frankly you're going to lose if you're not optimal setting your light
Right.
exposures, etc. Right? Like
It's
unless it's
already possible to make layer lines a thing of the past by throwing on anti-aliasing, printing at stupid high or stupid small layer heights, like the 0.2 layer heights, and then on like a Mars 3 with like 4K resolution at tiny. Then, like, yeah, you're not going to see layer lines anymore.
right.
In any rebuttals?
Well, not for me. No, I think it's I. My next prediction has less to do with tech. So
Mm-hmm. My next prediction is we're going to see the first mega merger next year. A big name like a cast and like I'm not going to say it's cast and play, but somebody of the cast and play Arc Villain Games Artisan Guild is going to merge with one of the other bigger names to make a new Uber studio in order to compete with the likes of the OPRs and the War Games Atlantic and stuff. We're going to start to see the contraction start to happen.
I think we're seeing that with artists because I think you've mentioned that we knew some from other companies that ended up at
Mm-hmm.
War Games Atlantic. And so I think that is happening. I hope it doesn't happen too much. I hope we still keep our scrappies.
Capitalism, my friend.
Oh,
Capitalism.
oh, we're empowering individual creators, though,
I
right,
know,
Perram?
and I want to keep
Please.
empowering individual creators, but and I'm not rooting for this to happen. Like I don't think it's going to be a good thing for the market, but I do absolutely start to think that we're going to start to see some of these 1,000+ subscriber groups that haven't been able to hit above too much above the 1,000+ subscribers will start to merge together to make companies that will be able to hit that volume.
I want to print Shadowrun. I don't want to watch our industry go through it. uh, yeah. Mine is a little more hopeful spin on the same idea,
Okay.
actually. My hopeful spin is that we will see more collaboration.
Oh.
That we're going to see. I think, what we're seeing with Dragon Trappers and OPR right now
Mm-hmm.
is very interesting. And I think, if more people get into that, there's a lot of people who are angry at GW. There's a lot of people who are angry at Wizards of the Coast right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a good collaboration and open source license
Mm-hmm.
could provide a really big, play space for people who are willing to make their own toys, scout their own rules, develop their own culture. Like this could be something very significant.
Yeah, and as the person who wrote that license, I have to disclose that I'm heavily involved in an effort to do exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And you're not alone. But like
Mhm.
I as someone who is only tangentially aware of it, am
Mhm.
definitely that's why I'm bringing this up. I don't want people to like are listening us to think that we're shilling or something. Like I definitely believe
Oh yeah,
100%
yeah.
that this could
I
happen
think
and
that
be
this is.
very good.
I think that the an open like I think that this is definitely a good idea to have an open collaborative effort for something like that. Which is why it's one of the big reasons that I was so gung ho about joining up with OPR when they reached out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that the key here is whatever the winner's going to be is going to be miniatures agnostic and going to be less concerned about the monetization of the rule system. Like I keep saying, like
Mhm.
I know Arc Villain dropped like Rune something recently, Rune
I don't
something
know.
Rune. I don't know. It's got its own game now,
Mhm.
and everybody seems to be dropping theirs. Titan Forge had theirs,
Mhm.
Battlefields, etc.
Cast and Play just did theirs.
Yeah, and I think um, if we could see something more in that miniatures agnostic space, kind of, because this is, they're pushing all this agency to the printer, to the crafter, the hobbyist, and I think the system's got to mirror that. Um, so I don't know.
I do think that it's also what it's going to take to compete against the GW. Like, there's going to be lots of success for skirmish level independent one-off games. So, like, I'm Guilds, which is Artisan Guild's version of this, and Titan Forge is Bloodfields.
Yeah.
Bloodfields is a fun game. This is actually legitimately a fun ass game to play. I love
Right.
it. But I do think that if you're going to compete at the top end, you're really going to need to be miniature agnostic, because like there's only going to be so much room for the GW ultra protective version of this. And also, like, if you're like marketing to 3D printer people, like, we are reveling in the freedom we have. We are not going
Right.
to want to put on new shackles just because it's our favorite company.
Exactly. And it looks like Voxel Forge is pushing back on the merger thing, and I hope Voxel Forge is right, because regional control and who gets the cash, those are very valid reasons for the merger thing to be tricky, at least, and I want this open collaborative thing. That's kind of one of the reasons why I was really happy with Wyndham last week, was Wyndham was pushing very much for that kind of collaborative play space. And I love game designers and boutique games. They're fun, but we've seen it in the RPG community that those designers end up having to release a new game every couple of years because they're, whatever it is, Powered by the Apocalypse clone, whatever, only does so well. And I would hope we can see something more robust that can kind of evolve with the hobby, hopefully. But
yeah, I am hopeful too. And like, if it doesn't come from like OPR or somebody operating inside the space, like there's Kings of War, and I know, actually, I hate that they kind of stepped away from miniature agnostic with their new game. So like, I think they kind of I think they fell on their own sword on that one.
Yeah.
Because that was a bad decision in my opinion, especially in this day and age right now. Like, you can't out GW. The people have been talking about Turnip 28. I do not know anything about Turnip 28, gang. It's a name I've heard a bunch, but I have not looked at it. If you could just toss me some links after the show, I'd appreciate it for sure. I will look into it and report back next episode about what's up with this Turning 28 Kickstarter. Evidently, the 3D printable Kickstarter for a game. A game evidently a lot of people love. And then, of course, there's like, everything that, there's Frostgrave and Stargrave are kind of like the darlings for some of that independent skirmish stuff. Everything Osprey prints basically is miniature agnostic, beloved gold. And then you have, of course, like the hobbyist superstars, like Uncle Adam and Vince. Their startup putting out like Space Station Zero, which is is getting rave reviews for being like a more fun version of Stargrave.
Dad's RC Workbench just said, "Hey, have you ever heard of Space Station Zero?" Which, as you said it, that was kind of a jinx moment.
Yeah. But also, I kind of like, I do want there to be like the Uber, like the alternatives of GW that we all rally around, but I still want to see like these boutique, smaller press, smaller ambition games come up.
Well, I think everybody is going to take their shot, right? Trying to be that community supported thing. And so I think you're gonna keep seeing new micro games like that at least are supported by that company, if nobody else.
Ooh, okay. So we've got like new games coming out. We've got bigger printers. We've got cheaper resin. Anything else? Like my doom and gloom about the evils of capitalism. What other predictions we rocking?
Can I move into some hopes?
Sure.
Okay. Things I hope. For sure. I hope that some of because a lot of Patreons have been going for a couple of years now, 3 years now, whatever, 4, whatever. and they've gone through their lines. They've done the orcs, they've done their goblins. We're starting to see second and third sets of lizardmen and whatever. I would hope that some of these people actually go out into the third party, the more successful third party gaming companies. I think of like Cobalt Press. I think of Monty Cook Games. These companies have bestiaries that have dropped, and those bestiaries have monsters we have never seen before. And there are no minis for them, or maybe there were like 6 in the Kickstarter, right? Like there were very few, and I think seeing some representation for those minis would be really cool, and also kind of help some of these creators who are maybe kind of in that creative rut, maybe to do something a little different. And it kind of segues into something I'm going to blame Austin at Dragon Trappers Lodge for with his Franken Dragon. I think the modular monster builder would be a beautiful thing to see this year. You know, something with a couple different quadruped bodies, a couple different tails, a couple whatever, so you could kind of like build, because that's what right now some of these monsters are so unique and so different. You're gonna have to just build them from bits right now. And I've seen like Battle Yak, for instance, does some interesting modular stuff that's not necessarily just your dude, right? That maybe they have a big carapace monster and some different like tentacles and big snapping arms and whatever. And I'm hoping that we can either see direct representation of some of those newer bestiaries or some sort of modular monster kit. Yes, I love Battle Yak. Roberto says has killer style. Yeah, love that stuff. Very, very fun. But
I predict that what we're going to start seeing a lot more of is massive Uber collections comprised of back catalogs, and orphaned collections are going to start to become a thing. And there's been a couple of tries, but I do think we'll finally see like a subscription service model repository come around as more and more creators crash out and burn out, and more of these models that aren't generating any revenue at all
right.
are around. And I think that it's going to be a couple of savvy groups that, you know, kind of like bring those into a place so that those efforts won't be wasted.
Right. Well, I think we've even seen a couple creators go that way, where like you can just buy the whole collection now. Like they've tapped out of doing monthly releases, and that they're, you know, Patreon or whatever it is, just pay $40, get everything we ever did. And I think that those are starting to happen. Have I tried Goonmaster? I have downloaded specific files.
I love Goonmaster stuff. They have that really cool piggy set that just came out. Like, my dream is to make an entire pig orc army, like that looks like very anime orky with like kind of cute looking pig orcs, not like disgusting, horrific or pig monsters, but like, and they have with this new set they just released, and really tempted to go ahead because they have a previous set and they have this set, and I happen to have already kit bashed all their models from the old set into armatures and made custom bits for them that I could probably to the enthusiastic support of the artist that was very cheering me on the whole way when I started like adding mohawks and crap to the pigs. That I really want to get that pig orc army made.
Yeah, that would be fun.
There's a lot of argument in Blender versus ZBrush in the future. My money is on Blender Gang. It I was already like the last couple of updates from Blender have been glorious, and I have such an easier time sculpting back and forth between hard model and soft model using Blender than I would do with my little trial of ZBrush. ZBrush, I'm sure, is a wonderful, wonderful tool, and probably more powerful in a lot of ways with the soft modeling. But daggone the results I'm getting on ZBrush as is, and then being able to very quickly switch back and forth between CAD style hard surface modeling and then soft sculpting
You just said
effortlessly.
ZBrush on that. I think you were meant
Oh, sorry,
Blender.
Blender.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure.
And then just like that's not even talking about the video engine or the rendering engine and all the other powerful tools that that thing has, or the incredible repository of mods available for it. I if I had if I was part of a studio that had to use ZBrush, yeah, yeah, you have to use ZBrush. If I'm an independent artist, that I would use Blender all day long, every day, and never look back.
Yeah, Roberto said ZBrush is not intuitive, and that was my experience. I opened it up like once, and I was like, "Nah, I don't have time for this today or the next several months."
Yeah. I've screwed
Voxel,
around with ZBrush. It's fun. I'm getting some decent results out of it. I made a fish. I made a dragon, and it was okay. But Blender, it's just so much more intuitive for me, and I just have access. Like even if it doesn't do soft sculpting as good as ZBrush, it does it 90% as well as ZBrush, and it does 800 things that ZBrush can never do right.
Roberto also says, "Accept the pain as a ZBrush teacher," and Voxel says he should show us his hard surfaces. I'm a little nervous about that comment.
But this is an area where it's almost a religious fanaticism on the choices here, so it's not going to be an easy way to get an answer.
I do think Cobra Mode still uses Blender. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. A lot of the people we've talked to have been using Blender, and then a whole lot of them more have been using ZBrush.
How about some rapid fires on
Sure,
other hosts?
rapid fires.
Rapid fires. I want to continue to see more inventive mounts. The mounts mount game has been super fun this year. We've seen little sparrows, we've seen like big weird war pegs, and
Hero Forge released the mount builder.
Ooh, nice.
Customize your own mount on Hero Forge.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that trend continue. Squirrels. We saw squirrels that were beautiful. Squirrels. Yeah. So yes, I want to see more inventive mounts. That's definitely one. I would like to see more biological bit packs, like
the alien heads bit pack. For instance.
Sure, I thought that was cool, but I'm thinking like weaponized arms and tentacles / a lot of the stuff like I would get from Battle Yak is coming to mind, or some nice armor. I really liked when Artisan Guild did their sea elves. Had very cool kind of bio-themed weapons. Let's see. Roberto says Shattered Crown has an all-mount Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was a really cool Kickstarter. It's been a bit of basically just like various different mounted characters as options. It was pretty cool. It's been a bit since it came out, but a lot of that has started to this last couple of months hit my mini factory for single purchase. So if you want crow mounts or bear mounts or elk mounts, and like some of the stuff has become more common over since that Kickstarter's coming out, but there's still a few that's like crows. Like there's not a lot of people that have crows you can mount on, so like go get that crow mount kit, throw the model off of it, and put the model you want on it.
Yeah. See Catlet, I was curious. It mentions Mini Monster Mayhem giving prior month as a gift. I don't think people who were already subbed got that though. Is what I'm wondering, because I was already subbed to that, and I bet you I did not. If I did, I did not see how to redeem it. So,
and the winter sale is still going on my mini factory. If you want to save 50% on just about anything, it's a great time to go get models, individual models you missed from previous months or from artists that you don't usually support.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the shopping time, because you'll get a discount similar usually once you sub, but it is a good time to go try something on for size.
Catley is saying that valid for current subscribers. You just have to PM him.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll need to do that.
Excellent news. Excellent news. Glad to see the subs getting supported. Like it does like I understand like the sign-on bonuses for different services and stuff, but it does always like hurt a little if you're like I've been supporting you for 3 years and I don't get the exclusive mini. Dang it.
Yeah. Laszlo Higgins asks, can you see a world where a monster manual also has an STL pack?
Yes.
Yeah, I can. I don't think we're going to see that first, unless the new VR tabletop,
Mhm.
if those creatures are created correctly, might also be posable STLs.
Well, I
I
already
don't
helped
think.
with one that did it. The Battle Zoo
Okay.
Bestiary from Roll for Combat had the STL packs with it.
There you go.
Mhm.
I hope that becomes also more common.
Mhm.
But at the same time, then it becomes an industry expectation, and very small creators will have a hard time releasing Monster Book.
Zantro joining, if already discussed, think FDM or equivalent ever get to the point where it has resin-like details? I could not predict what future crazy technology might exist, but I think FDM will get a little better on the details, but we've already started to see that technology plateau as good as it's going to get as far as resolution is concerned, because just of the nature, you're ejecting molten material in, like, there's just a matter of the physics involved that when you're doing it at that sort of technique, at that sort of level, I don't think that you're going to be able to get, I think you're going to see cleaner prints, like with less errors, as we start to see some of these AI boxes that have been coming on that like have been like controlling the acceleration to reduce like the actual physics errors from like the inertia of the print head moving around. We're going to see cleaner and cleaner and cleaner prints, but we won't see more fine details than we already have. And you'll never see it as good as resin unless it's a radical new version of this technology, because at resin you really are dealing at like near atomic levels of accuracy because of how those are printed.
That's not to say an FDM crafter out there
Mhm.
can't get their prints to that level if they're willing to sand and do things and like.
No, I am absolutely saying they can't get their prints at that level.
Oh,
Like when
okay.
you
Well,
start talking about, like, we're talking about accuracies in the 32 UM period,
okay.
there's nothing that the point 0.4 millimeter nozzle is going to be able to
I'm
do
just saying you could get
to
some
get
very
that level.
beautiful
You can
prints if you're willing to
get
put in
beautiful
suffering.
prints, and I love my FDM printer. I'm loving the prints I'm pulling off of that, but it's going to be impossible. It's like it's literally impossible to get as good as resin has gotten, especially with the last couple of things using that version of that technology. Like maybe some future version of this technology that's got like freaking laser beams on sharks or something. And I'm not putting that out there. Every time the 3D printer maker fair comes around, I'm constantly surprised with some of the wild crap they're coming up with, and maybe that happens. But what we are going to see in the FDM world is what Voxel Forge says: cleaner prints, so like less errors, more like it will. The resolution might not be able to get better, but less artifacting and faster, 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 faster.
I think say Catla is gonna have to type binder jet 2 more times before we say binder jet. But yeah, I think that's obviously going to be a really up and coming
It's a
thing.
great tech. We don't know where it's going yet. I want to see that tech. I think we're still a couple of years away from seeing consumer versions
Consumer,
of
yeah,
that. Mhm.
yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. And Herberto
Um,
says that there have been a lot of FDM advancement this year. Yeah, there have been a crazy amount of FDM advancements, like better supports, tree supports, better slicing software. It's like taking this aspect of it more seriously, and a lot of the tech advancements that we got from resin coming back to FDM. So like you will never like we can't get more accurate. We can't make a point 0.4 millimeter nozzle print at 32 microns. That's not going to happen. But
sure.
being able to print really clean, good looking models faster and faster and faster and faster, and like with less restrictions that we've had to accept, like supportless models, maybe supports aren't going to be the dirty word they were have been. Like some of these tree supports that I'm seeing coming out, new versions of Cura that just like melt off of the machine and just peel away perfectly without leaving scars. Like that's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, just a 200K. Yeah, we could shell at that, right? Get one for the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's one that'll get you. If you're okay with 1 point something million colors, 30K will get you one. Heck, I saw one for 16K.
There you
If you
go.
want, I think that's really similar to the one that we're seeing Hero Forge use.
And here I am, still begging for flight bases.
Yeah. Roberto says most supports from Lachi nowadays just peel off. It's beautiful. They're great. I haven't tried Lachi's FDM supports because I've been hesitant to pay another slicer fee for. I like my FDM printer, but I use it so much less than my resin printer.
Yeah.
But hey, if the new Lachi supports are wonderful as they are on everything else, because Lachi resin supports, man, they're so good lately that I just do not even care about if a model's supported or not anymore, especially since half the models I'm putting together are custom kit bashes that are not. Like, it's a head from something from Artisan Guild and Arc Villain's body, and I'm using the left foot from something from Goon Master. Like, it's just an amalgamation of whatever to make the perfect model for me. I'm gonna have to support that. And I've gotten into my auto support game where that just like I just don't even worry anymore. Just like heavy auto supports with light supports.
Yeah,
Throw
yeah.
on a couple of mediums on the feet, and if it's got a staff, it gets at the base of the staff. It gets a medium.
Hard lines get a support line, you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's
Yeah.
mostly I
Oh yeah,
can.
and the advancements with like the line now. If now, listen here, Lachi. I know some of y'all listen to the show. Curved lines. Let me
Mm,
do a curved line so I can take one of those oval bases, support the like, or just follow the line. Just give me a support that follows the line of a model, and then just like boom, great, and I've got a perfect supported base.
do you have any
Okay.
last minute shots?
I do predict that we're going to see one of the big miniature players that I'm talking. I predict we're going to see official BattleTech. I'm going to call BattleTech. We're going to see official 3D printable BattleTech.
Mm, interesting.
I
I
was
like it.
trying to pick one of the big players that's going to step into the field, and that's my goal. I think Catalyst. Catalyst will step up first.
Okay, I could see it.
Of course, I did mention something that gets us involved in Harmony Gold. Maybe that was a bad prediction. All right. Anything left for you, Kristen?
No, I think we've hit most of them. Like I said, I'm just whining about flight bases and spell effects forever. That's just a personal ask, and I still don't understand why it's not more popular, but that's me.
All right. Well, in that case, we will see you all next week. Thank you all for joining us for another year or our first year, really, of printing your games. If you want to find more, you can find us over at printyourgames.com, where you'll find our back episodes as well as links to all of our socials and stuff. Subscribe to us on Spotify or iTunes and give us a 5-star review there if you think we are 5 stars. That'll help the show out a whole lot. We appreciate it. And if you're watching us on YouTube, a comment, a like, a subscribe always helps out. Until next time, I'm Jefferson J. Thacker, also known as Perram.
Chris and Sowards, also known as Seventh Mastery, and don't forget to use your screen protector until you